Everyone, this is Jeff Barnes here, coming at you from Angel Investors Network, and I'm really excited to be presenting and introducing to you our MC for the Business Wealth Summit. Amanda Banks, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, Jeff? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely good, and good to see you as well, Kylie. How are you doing today?
I'm doing super. I got lucky enough to see Amanda on her her LinkedIn audio, and she's got a group that she does every week, and that was absolutely super, Amanda.
Beautiful.
It was lots of fun. We had a group today.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, and so Amanda, we're coming out to your neck of the woods. We're going to be out there in Franklin at the factory and going to be having our Business Wealth Summit in less than 2 weeks now. I'm pretty excited about this. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what it is you do that made us want to choose you as our MC.
Well, thanks for that. So I'm a creative entrepreneur that helps individuals and companies leverage platforms. So whether that's digital platforms or physical platforms to help amplify their voices. So that's in a nutshell. I have my hands in a ton of different types of things, including speaking, and also have a TEDx Old Hickory event and host events too. So that's a little bit, and I'm happy to dive into any details that make sense to further explore.
Yeah, absolutely. So you run the TEDx Old Hickory, like you were saying, and you've been on stage, you speak for yourself, you speak on stage yourself. You're a TEDx speaker, of course, and you have a really, really cool story to show people and talk to people because you have an interesting background and you ran a company around the athletic space, and now we're talking about business. So give people a little bit of that backstory too.
Yeah, so I have a corporate background. My corporate background is in healthcare and technology, primarily around enterprise sales and strategic partnerships. So I've sold everything from tacos and attic insulation to gymnastics leotards and then multi-million-dollar technology deals. So I come from the corporate space, transitioned into entrepreneurship due to a tornado. My daughter's school in 2020 got destroyed by a tornado, which kind of forced us to reevaluate what our careers looked like. Before COVID was a thing, we had her homeschooling. So we really had to explore what that looked like. And so around 2021, launched a couple of companies and really did quite a bit of work in the athlete space where we were focused on helping athletes transition from sport into business. And so now my company, Create and Innovate Solutions, I help serve a lot of different types of people, including athletes, to help amplify their voices and leverage things like platform to communicate, to generate inbound opportunities for themselves and their businesses.
Outstanding. So, with all of that being said, you have a great stage presence. As Kylie was just saying this morning about you, what are some of the things that you're really excited about for this event and you might even be talking about on stage here?
Yeah, so here's the thing that I'm super passionate about. It always comes down to building really meaningful relationships and being super authentic in who we are as human beings and the impact that we want to make in the world. So the thing that I'm super excited about is, like the attendees, I'm there to learn as well. I don't have a financial services background. And so like everybody else, I'll be there to learn, to build my network and to grow both personally and professionally. And the thing that I'm super excited about is helping facilitate connections for people. I have a knack about this. I do this in a lot of different types of formats and informal ways, but I'm just super excited to really get to know the people that join the event and to help facilitate really meaningful connections for them as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited about that too. Kylie, what are some questions, some thoughts, ideas that you have as well?
Well, I've gotten really lucky to be able to communicate with Amanda quite often now. She's been amazing with helping out. And I find that it's Amanda and I had a little bit of a chat today about connecting people and actually why attend an event that you're not. And I think that would be something interesting to talk about, Amanda. Just open the doors to, why would I want to attend this event if I didn't know anything about maybe angel investing or buying and selling businesses? And I'll tell you my answer, and then Amanda's going to tell you hers. But it's like, you want to be in the room where the people are giving you energy. You are learning from them. You are building your net worth, and you're there to learn, but also you're there to serve. How can you show up and really, really serve that room and make the most of it? Amanda, what's your opinion?
Yeah. So everything that has been like really massive in my life as far as exposure has really happened through the lens of events. And so I've met incredible people, strategic partners, all sorts of different types of connections that I typically would not have, like, I guess, seemingly belonged in that specific space. And just by showing up, I expand my network, but I also expand my mind and learning new concepts that then I can take into my business and maybe even potentially do something a little bit different. So I'm a huge fan, just in general, that you've got to show up at places that may be completely different than the types of spaces that you've ever shown up in before, and learn something that you may not have ever been exposed to. And events are a great way to do this, right? Because there's a lot of different types of people, and you have the ability to just communicate and just be there and be present. And so that's something I get really jazzed up about, is being and showing up in places where I seemingly don't necessarily belong, and learning new concepts from people that are subject matter experts in their spaces.
Yeah, I think you couldn't have said it better there. The fact that we're bringing in over a dozen speakers from all different walks of life. We're going to have pro athletes in the room. We're going to have nonprofits in the room. We're going to have folks that have been doing mergers and acquisitions for 30 years. We have a gentleman that's done over $6 billion in sales and licensing deals. And we have veterans coming as well, right? And I love that aspect because that's near and dear to my core, because I am a veteran, and being able to give back to that veteran community is going to be really fun. But more importantly, it's like, just exposure breeds expansion, right? Like you were just saying, by exposing yourself to new ideas, new people, new cultures, new environments, you get a chance to learn from them and grow, whether it's your network, of course, and we say your network equals your net worth. So you grow your net worth, as well as just taking the blinders off to what's actually available and possible out there in the world. And, Amanda, maybe you can give a really quick story about it. How did most people don't wake up and say, you know what? I want to be a TEDx speaker and I want to host TEDx events, right? How did that happen? How did you get to that stage in your life where you're like, not only do you want to speak on stage, a lot of speakers love to speak on stage like TEDx, but then you said, I want to run this for my own community. How did you get there?
So I have a really interesting background when it comes to public speaking, because I was terrified of it. Like, I had this deep-rooted phobia of cameras being in my face, photography, but ultimately like communication and public speaking. And just throughout my career, I've had to do it in different types of capacities, especially if you're in like an enterprise sales role where you're having to present to large groups of people. I mean, it's not necessarily on a stage speaking, but it kind of is your own stage, right? So my background started with enterprise sales and strategic partnership, as I've mentioned, and I use that as a way to kind of become a better communicator in small groups. And then I started doing panels and some of those other things. But ultimately, the TEDx opportunity came because of somebody in my network. I developed a relationship with him. He became a great friend of mine, and he ultimately told me I was going to do it. He was like, Amanda, this is a great thing for you to do. You need to come and speak, so just figure it out. I was like, okay, great. So he walked me through the process. That's Dr. Dan Young. Hopefully he'll be able to join us in Nashville. I've sent the invite over to him as well to see if he's able to join. But I spoke at TEDx Wilmington. He invited me back again the following year to host. And then I ran the idea by him. I just said, look, like, what would it take to bring this to Old Hickory, Tennessee? So if you're listening in, you're like, where's Old Hickory, Tennessee? It's a little bit outside of Nashville. So we're about 25 miles east of downtown Nashville, and it's a super small community. So it's like, I thought, why not host something like this and create this ecosystem of idea exchange in my local community? And so that's how it happened.
So I'm sensing a common theme with a lot of the folks that we've done this venue with, this format with, live streaming, and we're asking them that same kind of question, like, how did you end up where you are today? And almost every single one of them has a similar story where somebody pushed them, right? Mm-hmm. Told them, this is the route we want you to go down. We see something in you and we believe in you and you should do this. And you just said that exact same thing. Somebody saw me, and because you showed up, right? It didn't happen until you showed up. But once you showed up, somebody saw something in you and said, all right, let's get you over here and doing this thing. And that's led to this new trajectory in your life that you may not have seen happening before that, right? When you were in corporate, did you envision yourself being the TEDx host?
No, I didn't even know probably what it was. So here's the reality to all of this is like, we can't see the forest from the trees. Oftentimes the people in our communities that are closest to us give us guidance into what our unique skills and gifts are regardless. So I'm a huge fan of the long game play, meaning like really long-term development of relationships. In fact, that's kind of an area of specialty on the sales side of mine, is like really navigating super long, complex sales cycles that require a lot of different touch points within an organization. And so it's a natural behavior for me. But to your point, Jeff, like I had no idea that this was at some point going to be something that I would do. And it was through those relationships and just constantly pouring belief. In fact, my TEDx talk is called The Power of These 4 Words, but it's pouring belief. But even more importantly, it's opening the door and providing opportunity. You know, I'm a huge fan of just creating platforms that provide people with opportunity and giving them the opportunity to even see their own potential.
That's awesome. So what would you say?
I want to add something to that though, because here you are, we're in a corporate environment, and nobody in the corporate environment is going to say, Amanda, we think you're awesome. We think you should go out and do this because you can. Only until you got into mixing up with the more entrepreneurial world did you find somebody that wants to pour some love into you.
No, you know, I've had interesting experiences in corporate, but I had the opportunity to work for an incredible leader right before I transitioned into my entrepreneurial journey. He had a company where he was going from services to SaaS. He hired me to kind of help facilitate some of that. And it was the first time really in my career that I had the opportunity to work for somebody that he didn't lead from a toxic mindset. He poured belief into all of us. He gave all of us the space to really create and to lean into who we are. And quite frankly, you know, I grew up in an interesting environment. I went into, you know, healthcare, which is a very intense environment. And then working for him, I got exposed to what really good, healthy leadership was. And so even though I didn't see the trajectory of what I'm doing now, I did have the opportunity to see what I wanted to become, which was a very good, healthy leader that truly loved and cared on people and showed up as their authentic self.
Super.
Awesome. That's great. So what would you tell someone who's watching this right now? You know, we have this event coming up and it's going to be very different than practically anything anyone else has seen because of the topics, because of what we're focusing on. What advice would you give to somebody who's out there maybe watching this and is on the fence or doesn't even know anything about the event?
Well, I mean, like I said, everything that's happened in my life that has been big with a relationship has typically started from attending, hosting, organizing an event. You know, it's an opportunity for you to not just spend a small amount of time with people. You know, 3 days is a long time. And I know that that's an investment of not just money to attend, but also, you know, investment of time. But the reality is like, you never know what you can potentially unlock in that opportunity. And just by simply being present, there's a lot of power in that. So, you know, everybody has to make their own decisions, right? But I'm living, walking proof of what can happen when you attend an event, even last minute, like make the decision last minute and to just show up. And I think that that's really, really powerful.
Absolutely. Well, Amanda Banks, MC of the Nashville 2024 Business Wealth Summit. So excited to have you there. Really looking forward to it. So anybody, if you're watching this, if you're seeing this on a replay, go to angelinvestorsnetwork.com/events and you will see the event there on our website. Make sure you get there. This is going to be an incredible event. We're talking about how to build wealth with businesses at the Business Wealth Summit. This whole idea is buying companies, scaling companies, and exiting companies for maximum profit. It's not just buy a job or be self-employed for the rest of your life and hopefully someday you can maybe potentially retire and have the life you want. That's not what we're talking about. We want to show people how to actually live a life of freedom and autonomy and have the life that they really desire using the power of business the right way. So really looking forward to seeing everybody there. Again, go to angelinvestorsnetwork.com and click on events and you'll see the information there and hopefully we'll see you there. So Amanda, I'm really looking forward to it. Kylie as well, looking forward to it. And we'll see you guys all next time. Take care.